Here we are.
All right, here we are. Happy Friday. So it's another edition of Q&A with Alan and Marshall. I'm Marshall Atkinson.
I'm Alan Howe.
Yeah,
with
and
Easy Way.
welcome. Welcome to our show. If you're joining us, please, in the comment section, say hi. We want to know where you're watching from. We also want to know what's going on in your neck of the woods. And if you haven't given StreamYard, if you're on Facebook watching, give StreamYard access to your name so you're not the dreaded anonymous Facebook user. We actually know who you are. You can also watch, by the way, on YouTube, which doesn't have any problems.
Which actually seems to go good.
Yeah. And we know that because Cindy's here watching
from YouTube, as always.
Right. Hey, Cindy. Good morning.
And Marshall, a lot of people are listening to it audio on Spotify and podcast too.
Yeah, well, we have our own podcast now. So what we're doing is we are pushing the audio to the podcasts. So if you can't watch us live or whatever, you just want to listen while you're in the car or jogging or whatever you're doing, you can do that. And my virtual assistant pushes that out and usually later today, right? I don't know when she's going to do it, but usually later today. So Kisa's here, says, good morning, guys. Watching while I print. A Ghost is here as usual from Sweden.
Hey, Ghosta.
Bruce says, howdy from Arizona. I'm in Arizona, so welcome, Bruce.
I'm in Michigan, but how you doing, Bruce?
And love seeing you guys. And so you, just to catch everybody up, you just recently got back from, where'd you go? Indianapolis,
I was in
right?
Indianapolis for a couple of days. Yep, on business. I had some appointments down there. It's always seems like there's a race going on. They're getting ready for Brickyard this weekend, so it was a madhouse.
Did you get to drive one of the cars?
I did not. I had my Jeep Grand Cherokee with me, and they didn't let me on the track with it.
Yeah.
And then the Little League, like Great Lakes regional finals, who go to Williamsport, were in Whittstown, which is right by Indianapolis, and Michigan. The Michigan team won.
Right. Great.
So doing that, but so it was pretty nuts down there, but it was a good trip.
Well, awesome. And did you pop in on anybody new, or it was just all planned?
This was planned. One of them I stopped in and saw was a company called Viva Supply. That was actually a lead from our friend Nick Wood, who seems to. I know you just talked to somebody from him. And
well, Nick likes to dole out referrals, so I'm all about that.
I'm all about but is that what we do too? Hold on, I know it. We all know a guy.
Yeah, and we all know a guy.
You know what? I went there when I was there before the show and stopped in, and we got talking, and he had a problem. I had a solution for it, had some samples sent in, he tried it, and he's been using it. It's going good. So we just talked about some other things. So he couldn't believe I stopped back by again. It's been 2 months. I just wanted to make sure, let you know I didn't forget about you.
Yeah, right. Cool.
And then I was at a bigger company at Main Gate and Legends, and so
good. So let's say hey to some more people. So Cindy says, I love watching on YouTube. It's on my computer, my sewing room. That's great. Perfect. Mike's here from California. Good morning, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Frank says, hey guys, just got back from a cruise. Great week on the water and seeing Mexico. That's awesome, Frank.
Badly needed vacation, I'm sure, Frank.
Yeah. I love going on cruises, and with the COVID thing, I don't know how comfortable that is right now. So Frank, let us know how you felt about that on the cruise. Right. So,
I've never been on a cruise. I have people, friends of mine and family, never.
Hold on. You've never been on a cruise?
Nope.
Man, there's nothing like being on a cruise, let me tell you, because it's just hanging out, having fun, more food than you can eat.
That's what they said. I do ridiculous things like go to Costa Rica fishing for sailfish and stuff like that, or
Yeah, right.
things like
Right.
that.
So we got another one. Hello, Marshall and Alan, Pete and Val from Sweet Teas for You in Port Huron, Michigan.
Hey,
Thanks,
how
Pete.
you doing, Pete? Yep, met Pete and Val at Indianapolis, the show in Irving, Indianapolis GPX. So
Yeah.
thank you for listening. Frank says
Great.
on the cruise right there.
Yeah. It was a challenge with all the precautions and with their unvaccinated 3-year-old. Thank goodness for the in-laws. Great.
Did they go with you, Frank, or did they just watch the kid while you were gone?
Yeah, and Cindy says, if I cannot swim back to shore, I'm too far out. And Ron says, good day. Happy Friday the 13th. Thanks, Ron.
Absolutely. It's a good day.
Appreciate that. And Frank says, yes. So
good.
All right. So let's run our GSG commercial and then get into some topics. What do you think?
Absolutely. I talked to one of the GSG reps, and man, we're going to have and during the show, I'm sure we'll talk about GSG and some stuff with us coming up.
I think it's probably, if we had a crystal ball, we could predict that.
I'm sure of it. Yeah.
All right, here we go. And if you're listening to just the audio podcast, I'm sure you're going to hum that tune in your sleep.
It's my ringtone.
It's your ringtone?
You know, I should make that for the ringtone for the GSG. That would
be funny.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
For anybody from GSG comes, when Mark Saldana calls or something like that.
Right. You ready to get into our first topic?
I think so. Go ahead.
You remember what it was?
No.
It's supply chain disruption.
How could I not remember that? It's our life right now.
So as a supplier, right, you're in the middle of this. And I was talking with some folks the other day, and one of the bigger ink companies that does plastisol is mandating based on your order history, you can only order up to 75% of what your previous sales were, because there's plenty of shops that are just, hey, I'm buying ink for the rest of the year, and they can't, they're worried about running out and all that kind of stuff. And the big issue with that, of course, is that plastisol is derived from a resin, it's a resin based. And this all stems from that big freeze back in Texas.
Yep.
When was that? February?
January, February. It was like,
those 2 months. Whenever that was, right? That's where it all stems from. And that has really disrupted that. Plus, let's just throw in COVID just as the wild card. Right?
Well, and then the secondary suppliers, if they did use an overseas one, there's been disruption there with just getting product and shipping and ports. So it's a trickle down.
Right. Yeah,
all over.
Right.
Yeah.
It's all kind of stuff. And it's also, apparel, hoodies, sizes being out, all kind of stuff. And I think the challenge coming up for lots of people is, and we're going to talk about more about this in a little bit, about what you should be planning for, but we've got back to school going on, holiday, excuse me, is just around the corner.
Right.
So I need to drink some water, Alan. Take it ahead.
Yeah. So holidays are coming up. You're going to have to start planning ahead. And, this supply chain disruption, I don't think the ink companies are doing it just to be mean. No. And that's being passed down. We have had to do it. What happens is we get allocated on raw materials, some of the same issues they have, because we've gotten product from the same place. And the whole Texas freeze was the big domino that went over first for us, and still coming back from that. We have started seeing a little bit, I'm told, from our office, a little bit of better flow on getting raw materials, but nothing price-wise.
Right.
We've had to do that with our dealers. Say, look, allocation, you can't, especially when there's a price increase coming up. Everybody wants to hoard it. and we're saying no. There's only so much. It's this percentage of what your previous sales were.
Right.
And so it's a protection just so they just don't keep running out and completely empty that chain.
Well, we don't want it to look like Walmart in the toilet paper section.
And that's exactly
right?
what they don't want to happen.
It's just empty shelves. That's the goal, is to not do that, so everybody can get what they need. Right.
Right. Some companies I think everybody's trying to manage it as best as they can. I'm extremely proud of how EasyWay has handled it. It's not easy. There's decisions made that I'm glad I don't have to make those decisions, or wouldn't want that pressure on me. But our management team, in case they're listening, they're doing great on it. That was a little bit of a suck up right there, but yeah, so, but
hey, good job.
Yeah. I can take all anything that can help me. But I know our distributors have all been extremely positive. We stay in contact with them. As soon as we know something, we try to communicate it. So it's there. And I know the emulsion companies, the ink companies, the apparel companies, everybody's going through it. But you have to have multiple supplies. I think we talked last week, Marshall. There's no more JIT. There's no more just in time. If you normally go through a 5 a month, you better have 1 5 and maybe 2.
Right.
There, just to keep. Yeah.
Well, one of the things that I've been getting my coaching clients to do is they normally use X brand, whatever they like. They need to try some other brands of ink from other suppliers just to see if they like it. Maybe you don't like it, so you don't order that 5 gallon. Maybe just do a sample and then see if you like it, and then order some as the backup, just so you have product, and you need to, like, whatever main supplier you use, if they're going to be out, you have already an account set up with somebody else. Right. And so this could be with many different things, right? It could be consumables, supplies, apparel, boxes, whatever. Right. So, I don't know. Just think things through. And what we want is to not grind things to a halt.
Right.
Really just kind of be looking ahead. In fact, that's what my blog article tomorrow is all about. It's all about looking ahead and just thinking things through for the rest of the year and the beginning of Q1 of next year, because this challenge isn't going away, and we need to really be thinking about what are our choices and how we kind of work through this. And I think the only way we're going to do that is with really good communication, really good understanding, some empathy for our supply chain, because, they, like you said, they don't want to be mean, right? They're trying to serve all of their customers, not just you. Right. So,
and Marshall, there
I want to show real quick.
There are things also people can do to help with their suppliers. This is where communication with your suppliers and relationship comes in. We've talked before that you can order anything from anyone online, but if you don't have a relationship, this is where it's at. Especially if you have a supplier, like some of ours are on terms, on the vendor side of it. And if you are a slow pay, or you nickel and dime them, and they can only send out so much product, and you're on the list, who do you think is going to go right to the bottom? It might be you. Yeah. Don't be that person. This is where relationship, everybody knows where we're at. And we try to stay in very good communication. Our suppliers are ordering. They know what the situation is. We're letting them know you've ordered 25 5-gallon buckets of this. We only have 10. Do you want us to hold it? Do you want to wait? No, send it. And we are just staying in constant communication.
Right.
Great. And so that's it. So stay that your supplier is a partner. Have a couple of them.
Mm-hmm. So got some good comments. So Ghost, I clicked the wrong one, says you can't fish from a cruise ship, so it's a waste of boat time.
Yeah, for trolling, it goes way too fast. And you know what? You get that lure hooked into that back prop, you're going overboard. You can't hang on. So.
Josh says, good morning. Hey, good morning, Josh. Cindy says, someone made a suggestion for the Sanmar Cap C112 in place of the Richardson 112. Well, I ordered a few to see if I like them. They are great, but now most of the stock is gone.
It'll be back.
Yeah. Right.
Maybe.
And then Ron says, Alan, thanks for your help last week. Employee back on the job.
Ron, that's great to hear. So Ron had a little issue with an employee. I'm not going to go into it because it's probably some sort of employee confidentiality on there, but I'm glad to hear that. So
yeah,
we talked
and
through
if
a
you
couple
haven't
things.
listened, Ron was on my podcast recently.
Yes.
And about how to use humor in sales. And that is my Success Stories podcast. And you can find that just on wherever you listen to podcasts. Also on the SNS Activewear webpage, they are right under the press. They've got a blogs podcast section. So
you know what?
There.
I got a question, Marshall. Why have we not had Ron Goodwin on our show? Who's the idiot that schedules these things?
You.
Oh, that's right. My bad. Ron, you know what? Because we talk about Ron and Ron's here and we're not going to butter up, but man, one of the class acts of the industry, great guy. Everybody gets to know him. So Ron, expect an email when we're done about scheduling some time on here. Don't you think, Marshall?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely. That is my fault, Ron.
Right. Cool. So Mike left a giant thing, right?
Yeah.
So I completely understand the challenges of blank garments. I get it. I've been ordering from all over the country to find shirts. I know you have, Mike. The problem I have, and not to bash Alpha, but please, I have placed orders, called to confirm it will ship, and it's still taking 2 days to get out the door. Yesterday, I placed an order and followed up with a phone call to make sure it was shipped. No ship and no phone call. And now if they increase the speed of shipping, it won't ship out today. Service fail. So yeah, lots of empathy for that, Mike. I completely understand that and wish I could wave the magic wand and fix it.
Yeah.
So
and
I think they're I don't work with Alpha. I don't have connections with them, but I would guarantee they have manpower issues just like everybody else. And they need workers and they can't find workers and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Right? So, that would be my guess.
Yeah.
I was,
I agree. I was just going to say the same thing.
And Ron says, be careful. Don't BS a BSer.
Absolutely. Frank had a great look at Frank. Good suggestion.
Yeah. Used to switch everything to SNS.
There's your magic wand.
So let me ask you, Frank, right? So how is the inventory levels with SNS, right? So can you completely solve Mike's issue? So I think there's some opportunity there for you to gain some market share. We'd love for you to comment about how you guys are solving this inventory issue with shirts, black hoodies, for example, all that kind of stuff, right? So
Frank just logged
really,
off.
Really love to hear that.
Frank just logged off. No, I'm kidding. He didn't.
So Mike says, I'm wearing a lot more from them, but they don't have the garments. Hey, Mike, what garments are you looking for specifically?
Yep. This is where we're talking about your ABC, and it doesn't mean on a level of quality, but you got to have options.
Well, you got your primary and secondary and whatever, right? Hold on. Everybody, what happens is my feed skips, right?
Yeah.
So Cindy says, I'm having to spend hours looking for t-shirts. Maybe he can try TSF. They ship the same day you order. SNS has changed to their own shipping company. Frank says it's getting better minus Richardson caps. Okay, good. Mark says good morning.
From GSG.
And Mark, by the way, I think he's got besides being a meat chef, he's now cleaning up in the show my Jeep off category. So he's got like 3 careers going.
Well, the thing with Mark is he gets bored. So he's mastered textile screen printing, and now he's mastered, being the meat chef and stuff. And now, the whole Jeep category, he just decided all of a sudden he's winning awards. He'll get bored next week and go, I don't know what it is.
Yeah, he just bought. How you look at people's feeds. I happened to find out that he just got brand new seat belts for his Jeep.
Brand new seatbelt.
So,
Well,
they're strapped. They're the over the shoulder kind, so you don't fall out.
the
when the
5-point
45-degree angle going up some crazy mountain. Right?
Mark, are they 5-point seatbelts or 3-point? Did you get?
Yeah.
So
Ron says, good tip. S&S customer website show inventory. S&S, Mike says, SNF Alpha Samar One Stop Mission Print Gear Golden State and ACC.
He's going all over. One stops out of Michigan.
So customer can see what we're up against.
Oh, good.
Right.
Yeah.
Frank says, stay open to comps to fill holes.
Yep.
And then Mike says, TSC, everyone just with technology, they could set up an automatic email.
Who is, help me guys, TSC, who is that, Marshall?
Forget what TSC stands for. T-shirts of California?
T-shirt City, Ohio.
Is it? I don't remember. Okay. And then Mark says they're 4-point seatbelts.
Got it.
Right. So anyway, the idea here is that, and I know you guys are doing this, you're actively looking, you're actually trying to solve your problems. For those folks that are suppliers that are here, I think the more communication that you guys have going out about how you're solving these problems, what you're doing, you're adding staff, you're adding hours or whatever, because this is what I'm going to tell you is if you don't communicate what the truth is, people make up the stories in their head about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right. And so I think that's why we constantly need to communicate what you're doing, what moves you made, what changes you've implemented, all that kind of stuff. The more you do that, the better. And a lot of times you have to repeat that because, you sent an email, great, they didn't read it. You made a social media post, they didn't read it. It's the third time that you talk about it is when somebody read the thing, right? So
yeah.
You need to keep doing that. Keep doing it.
I call it vain imagination. When there's no communication in your head, they're on the beach drinking margaritas, and not worrying about their business. And that's not what's happening. But there needs to be communication both ways. Yeah. Right.
So Mike says, I will and do. I'm not selling a specific brand so we can switch. TSC is the old California shirt sales, but it's a Tultex parent, was 15 minutes away. Now I just moved 1 hour away. Having a staff member drive there to fill the customer's rush order today.
Nice.
Ron says TSC is Tultex.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
And Mike says tscapparel.com is their email address.
Thank you.
And all right, that's all good stuff.
It's a lot. So it's not just, it's an apparel. It's in there. I've heard there's been some on the hybrid ink side a little bit.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I haven't
spread rumors or anything.
No, and we were talking about it in our sales meeting a little bit, that there's been some, I want to confirm it with some of the people of hybrid, but it's just hitting all over. I don't know if we heard in digital direct-to-garment inks. Has there been any disruption at all?
I don't know. Right. So
yeah, because it's water, and I think it would be the pigment side if there was anything, but yeah.
Well, it could be the white. They use the same titanium dioxide that regular ink.
True.
Right. So, I mean.
Yep. It is that. So, but it is all over. And you know what? It's in the private sector too, not just in our industry.
Right.
Labor is an issue. I saw a guy, made a girl cry at Taco Bell. I could tell. Yeah. Well, it was in a drive-through. Yeah, and so
somebody cry at Taco Bell.
Well, she was doing. The manager just said, "No, go take a break." The guys, I heard him say, "As I'm pulling up, the guy's an asshole. Let it there." So of course it's Detroit. He's probably floated from the Detroit River over to Canada by now. We take care of that. And it's just, what, the poor girl. She's a teenage girl. They're working. They're doing the best they can.
So he was just being a jerk to her?
I guess. I don't know. He was the car in front of me. So I guess so. And I asked the guy, guy in front just being an idiot? They go, yeah. I go, we'll have him killed. He goes, please. He's dead. So,
yeah, great.
I'm kidding, everybody.
So Cindy Cindy says she doesn't like Tultex, and but they usually have stock of major brands. She's talking about TSC. So,
it's funny because I used when I was managing rock bands, I used the Tultex unisex shirt to go against instead of American Apparel, and it was an incredible shirt. They loved it for touring and stuff for band merch at the time. Now this was 2011, so
right. So that's a while ago.
It was, but that's what I remember Tultex, because I asked the band. They said no, we wanted. I said, do you want the style to feel, or does it have to have the label? They go, no, we don't care about the label. Fine.
Right.
So
I'll tell you, my favorite shirt is the Jersey Snow Heather.
Yeah.
That's my favorite shirt.
Yeah.
How many t-shirts do you think that I've seen in my career? Right.
A zillion.
It's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like the way it feels, and it prints well, and it's got it like actually the more you wash it, the better it gets. And just
I'm gonna have to get some of them. So yeah. I have not seen them. I've not worn them.
If you go to Shirt Lab Fort Worth, I have a sneaking feeling you might get one.
But remember, I have to shop in the huge and fat section because I am a husky petite.
Yeah, husky petite. I think
Yes.
we're the same size, pal. So I mean,
yeah, all of ours have to have on the size that T at the end for tall, for long.
So and then Mike says that jerseys is a great shirt. Yep.
There's a lot of good
shirts.
shirts.
Says we're loving those jerseys. Yeah, right.
Awesome.
I'm not wrong.
Didn't say you were.
All right, cool. So I would love it if everybody, what is the one thing specifically that you've been looking for that you can't find, and maybe somebody here has a resource for that item? Maybe that we can do a little show, right? Don't list the you can't find, just the one specific thing that's driving you crazy. Maybe put that in there, and let's see if we can find the thing. Ron says double X and up are signs of success as cultures.
Ron, when I first started going to Southeast Asia in early 90s, now, of course, I was playing basketball then, so I was, 6'2" and not the size I am now, more like 210. So it wasn't me, but on the teams we were on, there would be girls there, and they would tell the Filipino ladies going, you cannot tell the ladies, since you've seen them last time, oh, you're getting fat, because that's a sign of success and prosperity, is a compliment, not a compliment to American ladies. So when they would say that, now they don't do it anymore. But
right.
Yeah, it was like, it is a sign of prosperity.
Gosh, I'm a billionaire.
Guy, in their mind, I am too. It's like, oh, you are Bill Gates. Hey, I resent that remark.
Yeah, round is a shape.
Oh, man.
All right. So do you remember what our second topic was today?
No, I didn't write them down.
It's labor.
Yeah.
So everybody, and I mean everybody I'm talking to is looking for people, right? And I can tell you from the discussions that I've had with numerous shop owners, it's not getting any better. And people are really having to start doing some things differently. And if you're still operating like, I'm just going to put an ad out like I always do and find people, I think you're crazy. You're not going to find folks, right? And so if you've hired anybody in the last, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, right? What have you been doing differently to get that person for whatever position it was? Can you please let us know? I would love to find out what's working. But I can tell you from talking with other shop owners, a signing bonus is working. I know 3 shops that fully air conditioned their production simply to get employees and keep the employees they have. And that's like the war of attrition with the other shops in the area, especially if you're in the South, where it's blazing hot. and your shop is air conditioned and the other one isn't, and you guys are paying the same, maybe I'll go work for you so I don't have to sweat.
Well, and it's not just the South, Marshall. In Indiana this week, it was in the high 90s, but the heat index was over 100 degrees, which in the Midwest is unbearable.
Oh,
Plus
that's like
humidity.
like 9 o'clock here.
Yeah, I know. For you, it's nothing, but with the humidity. So, comfort and these little things help. And
Yeah.
labor woes are part of supply chain disruption too, because
Yeah.
it fits right in. I mean, we've been talking about it too.
So I was hanging out with Tom week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, in Iowa, planning Shirt Lab for next year, and we were kind of running around and we were talking about labor. And he told me he read something, and I haven't done the work to research this, but so this is just anecdotal. But he says that he read somewhere that one of the big challenges we're having right now is the fact that during COVID, so many people got laid off from these lower level tier jobs. Okay. And then what happened is a huge chunk of them started their own business.
Home business, yes.
Home businesses. And now, not working for you or that restaurant as a waiter or whatever, they're making just as much or more money with less effort, and they're in control of their destiny more. Right. And of course, a bunch of these businesses won't last because they don't know what they're doing, but some will catch on and that'll be their career. Right. And so it's like one of these things where the highest level of small businesses have been created in the history of the United States,
right,
during COVID. And I think that's where a huge chunk of this population went. The other chunk is guys my age, right? Or their retirement age or whatever, and they got laid off, whatever. They just decided just to retire. And they're not coming back, right? And then there's, the women in the workforce. They decided to stay home and take care of the kids instead of going back. So you got those three things right there have really led to a huge chunk of the workforce that was available that's not. And right now, if you look at the unemployment rate, right, the unemployment rate is super low, okay? But it's one of these things where we still need millions of jobs, and there's nobody that wants to fill them. And I think a huge chunk of that has to do with, hey, we'll give you money for COVID to stay home or whatever. And that's ending in September. Correct me if I'm wrong, right?
No, it is.
So I think September, November, October, November, we could start seeing people who, they got to pay the rent. They got to pay they need groceries. They'll come back to start wanting more jobs, I think. Right. So
I agree, Marshall. I think too, when that ends too, it's easier to start a small business, a home-based business. And if it's not run well, I haven't researched it, but I've seen a couple articles on the exact same thing. One this morning I did, and I need to research it more, but it makes sense. But I think also and this is just, guys, my opinion, so it doesn't mean anything. When that extra supplement from unemployment runs out in September, I think some of these home-based businesses, they're going to go, oh, this is easy. I'm living well. Wait, that little safety net is gone now too. So I think we might see some of those businesses go away and things come back also. Right. A little bit. That's kind of my thinking. I don't know. We'll see. I'd love to hear everybody else's opinion.
Yeah. And I think, so if you're running a shop and you've got labor issues, I know that a lot of shops have really looked at what they're doing, and they're using more outsourced stuff, right? Yeah. So they're using, for example, graphic source for their art, or they're hiring virtual assistants, or they're actually looking into automating part of their process so they can use less people and get more work out. This is upgrading to an automatic screen printing press, or upgrading to a screen washer in the screen room, or whatever, right? So we're buying gizmos so we can get more out with less people.
And just
Don't you
I'm
see
sorry.
that as something that's happening?
I see it all the way. And just before you said that little point, that first point, Ghosted just posted, and I know you didn't see it. Stole the thunder.
With this?
Yep.
Not hiring, but better collaboration with another company. We help each other with things that were otherwise outsourced to maximize our time. Exactly.
Perfect. Yeah. And I'm seeing all of that and more. So again, this week, big company, 6 autos. They're outsourcing more. They've also made some capital purchases. They're looking in the future, like on a larger automatic reclaim. Problem is, one of their manufacturers, 36 weeks out. And so now, there's a lot, but they are outsourcing more because could they run more faster if they had people? They normally, he said, run 56 people. I'm sorry, I had to look. I just got a text. My phone's off, but it came through my computer from my nephew Wyatt. Spent his first night at college last night. He said they went well.
Good.
So I just saw that. I'm like, okay,
good for him.
Yeah. So look up Wyatt Howe at Siena Heights College. He got a scholarship to play football, but it's also a 4.3 grade point average. I'm so proud of him.
That's awesome.
He makes our family look good.
Yeah.
Anyways, so but yeah, you're right on there. He does. He's an amazing kid. Nicer than anybody else, and nicer than I ever have been in my whole life. He's just super.
Yeah, good. He makes up for you.
Oh, all of us for generations. Him and his brother Mason. It's like, gosh.
Right.
Finally.
All right, so let's get back on topic here. So Cindy says, I'm very thankful to one of my sons is in between jobs, so he's here working for us again. I love that. And then Sean says, hi, Alan and Marshall from Alpharetta. Hey, Sean, how you doing?
Yeah. So what I was saying, the shop, they normally run about 56 people in their screen print and directed garment, facility. They're in the 20s now. So they're having to collaborate with other printers and contract out and looking how they can adjust labor costs. Now that's a bigger company, but I'm seeing more and more companies, especially because I run in that reclaim circle, look at things like automatic reclaim. And it used to be, if you reclaimed, we would say 50 to 75 screens, you could start looking at it. There is a company that does 30 screens a day, and they're just buying them because of labor. They can have someone go in there, run them through, hit the button, do stuff, and then go to another job when they're done.
Yeah. Or you can just load it up and walk off and code some screens or do something else.
Well, that's what I meant. Go to another job, another part. And yeah, absolutely.
Right. And so it allows you to get more work done at the same time.
Yep.
Right?
And it's actually very nice because when you think about that, because it's multiple cross training, they know how to run the automatic reclaimer. They know how to coat. They know how to expose.
Well, let's face it, reclaiming screens is easily the crappiest job in the building. So
it is
having that dishwasher is a big benefit, right? So, all right, let's
now
get
like everything though. Just don't think those are the magic wand. One of the discussions. If Marshall and you've seen, and with your coaching clients and people hear that print, I'll use this scenario. When you go from printing manually to an automatic, boy, you might think you're an incredible printer. You go to your first automatic and you're going to feel like for a while, I am the worst. Anytime you automate it, it's going to show you where you are failing at, where you suck at in your business. True. And so in Reclaim, I told this company, I said, you're doing things great. When you get this, it will show you where you are failing at. And we went through some of the pain points that will happen. So, don't think it's the George Jetson, dun, 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 hit the button. It's just there, easy magic. So, and that's with anything, any automation in any area. So I'm sorry. Right. So,
hey, let's get to our third topic, which is fall planning. So what are we talking about here, Mr. Howe?
Well, we can't, fall's coming up. We are in August already. Schools people are going back to college. Schools. Some people here have already gone back to school. Your son's in school. Mm-hmm. If you might have missed on the whole school part, but we got holidays coming up. We are couple months. Labor Day is next month. We have an October Halloween.
Well,
we've
Black
got
Friday.
There's Friday,
there's a lot of things coming up. So
yeah, we are in month 8
It's
So
crazy.
it's
Isn't it
stupid.
crazy that we're in August?
Weren't we just drinking on New Year's Day on live? What was that about?
I don't know.
We were unsponsored at the time.
It really seems like this year is just flying by to me. It's just crazy. I can't believe it's the fall. I can't believe football is here. I'm a football guy, as you know. And fall with everything that brings. And usually Q4 is the most, for lots of shops, is the most profitable quarter of the year. And let me tell you, you need to be, it should already be planned. I got to tell you, right?
Yeah.
You're back to school. That was a couple months ago. You should have planned that out. Fall holiday, Black Friday, you should be really in the middle of and almost finished planning that. And we should be really thinking about January and Q1 right now. And what are you doing next year in planning out 2022? That's where, if you're an owner watching this, your brain needs to be on that right now. And I know mine is.
Right? And you know what? Your brain needs to be on it, Marshall, because your customers need to be on it too. So they are aware of some of the things we've talked about supply chain, about labor. So you can tell them, say, look, with this going on, we've got to get this. Have you thought about this? Bring up the subject. Help alleviate their pain points. Be a solution.
Yes, they need to know that there's supply chain disruption. And one of the things that I know a lot of people are doing is they're not talking about a specific brand of shirt. They will say it's 100% cotton, 5 ounce, 30 singles or whatever, but they're not saying the brand, and that gives them more leeway.
Yep.
And so if you're looking at that, one thing that I know a lot of people are doing is they're using, let's say there's 3 or 4 shirts that you like in that category. They're using the higher price shirt as the way to calculate the price. If that's not available, they've got backups, but they're not going to lose money, lose margin, because now I have to go to that and I didn't quote it right. They're using the higher price garment as the anchor for pricing for this category of shirts that they're selling. And that allows them to price and quote things. And we're telling our customers, we want to use this, but I'm looking right now at inventory and it shows good stock. Okay. So by the time they approve the quote and everything, somebody has come in and bought every shirt in the country with that color.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so now it's no longer available. What are you going to do? You need to bring this up with your customers early into the process so they know about it. It's not a surprise. It doesn't feel bait and switchy, that you can move and have some options. And I think that's really impactful if you do that. So
I have a feeling in December, red and green garments are just not going to be available.
Yeah, well, it's coming, right?
Yep.
So what are you doing? What's going on? What's going on for holiday? I look at last year or the year before, right? Pull up your, if you've got a system, pull up what you ordered last year, what brands, what sizes, what quantities, what programs you did for your customers. Start ringing them up on the phone and saying, hey, Susie, I'm looking ahead at this, we might have some stock issues. I just want to go over what your plans are. We need to start designing. We need to start thinking about it. We need to start doing some stuff. And that way you're ahead of the game and it's not going to be last minute on this stuff. And I think that's really going to help you plan and get things going. And then also, what are other alternatives that you can offer? The other thing is, does everything have to be apparel?
Right.
Look, you could do laser engraved coffee tumblers instead of, water bottles, whatever, right?
Yep.
It doesn't all have to be apparel. Can you offer that also? Right. Can you offer that stuff also? Right.
Yep.
So that's one thing that if you've got more tools in your toolbox, right?
This is from down in Alpharetta. from North
It's from
Georgia Apparel. Yeah,
Sean.
from Sean. Yeah, just drew a blank, but yeah. So
Yeah.
I use
Peter
it to keep
says,
pens in.
the first thing we tell our customers is a shortage of garments. We ask, what's the backup color? So you might want to do, Peter's, not only what's the backup color, but do you have, we might need to switch brands, right? Is it okay to fill in, we're using this for the whole order. If we're missing 20 mediums, can we use another type of shirt, right? Because sometimes let's just say it's a 300 piece order, right? Are those 300 people going to be in the same room? Sometimes they won't be, and it doesn't matter. Okay. Right. A black shirt is a black shirt, even though we know that black is that's blue, black, green, black, black, gray, black. There's all types of blacks that sometimes they won't match. Right.
Yep.
But if you sometimes maybe this could help you fill in for what's missing if you're talking about that way early. So,
look,
here you go. Mark says, order your inks now. Shimmers, anything used for holiday prints, lead times aren't getting better yet. Exactly.
Yep.
Crystallina for those snowflakes, right?
Yep.
How many snowflake Crystallina prints do you think I've done in
a zillion?
It's like counting snowflakes, right?
And remember, Crystallina is a brand, is called something, but in some ink companies it's called Yellow Sparkle. So you got to know these things,
right?
Glow in the dark for Halloween and stuff. I get that now. These are specialty inks. Get them. Yeah.
Then you have matching colors. That matters with mine. Purple, maroon. Yep. Exactly. So, I think it's really important that we get on top of this, right? And this is how you win with the supply chain disruption, especially for this fall and early Q1, is going to be with communication. That's how you win. Okay.
All I think of is when, Pete says that when he asks what is your backup color, Cindy goes, her colors are purple and maroon. What's your backup color from maroon? I'll take burgundy. Try again. So, yeah.
Well, if you're a Florida State fan like me, it's called garnet.
Perfect. Yeah. Tan. What's your backup color for tan shirts? Khaki. Try again. No.
Yeah. So, right. Yeah. Okay, cool. So, hey, we got, here you go. Ron's got a great comment. I tell customers customers don't wear more than one shirt at a time. So dye lots should not be a problem.
Absolutely. Good call.
Unless you're Steve Bannon.
Yeah.
All right. And please, let's not make this a political show.
No.
Okay. So, and y'all are funny. Yeah. No, funny looking.
We are hilarious. Yes.
All right. Hey, there's one last thing I want to talk about today. Can you predict what it's going to be?
Crack ourselves up. Let's talk about, I don't know, but let's change. Let's talk about ISS Fort Worth and Shirt Lab Live.
Okay. So we're about a month away. Okay. We're about a month away. Time is now, if you're going to go, is to figure out how you're going to get there and your travel plans and all that kind of stuff. And Alan, you did something this morning I want everybody to hear. What'd you do?
Made coffee?
Nope.
Oh.
Something on the internet.
I made my flights for Shirt Lab and ISS Fort Worth.
Right.
Marshall's going to be down there. I'm going to be there at Shirt. And guys, again, you teased me about the dreaded podcast for 2 years. I'll give you a worse scenario. Marshall and Tom came up with Shirt Lab. I have been invited
2018 we did.
Yeah, I have been invited to every Shirt Lab they've ever had.
We've had
as their
5
guest,
of them.
and I have never, and one was 4 hours from my house. I drive through there all the time, and I didn't go to the very first one in Columbus, and I have never been.
You're such a crafty friend.
But I am a horrible friend to you and Tom. You guys just have never supported me. Yeah, hardly.
Right.
But I am excited for this. One, because ISS Fort Worth, what are we going to be doing there, Marshall? Just walking around?
We're going to be talking a lot, right? So before we get that, you bought your plane ticket today, right?
I did.
And from Detroit to Dallas Fort Worth was how much?
$307.
Okay.
That's tax and
It's
everything.
cheap. It's cheap. I'm going to have my son. I'm trying to get my son there to help out, see what dad does all day. Right.
And that wasn't the cheapest ticket
here
either.
From Phoenix over, it's about that same price. Right.
And that wasn't the cheapest ticket either. That was Delta Comfort, one behind first class. So yeah.
Right. There you go. Hey, Ron says, I've been to more shirt labs than Alan.
Everybody's been to more shirt labs than Alan.
All right. So Frank says, Marshall, is your hotel recommendations for shirt lab a must? Well, unless you want to camp out on the park bench, I'd say getting a hotel is probably a good idea. But
all the cool people will be there.
Yeah. So you can go right here, shirtlablive.com/Fort Worth. This is where you can get tickets. We have a hotel block, Frank. So if you go to this web address and you scroll down about halfway, you'll see a thing about our hotel block. It's at the Residence Inn, Fort Worth Residence Inn, and it's $129 a night. Most people are coming from just my talking with folks. Most people are coming in on Saturday so they can walk the trade show, and the trade show lasts till 5, and then Sunday it lasts till noon, right? And then, of course, our Shirt Lab networking event is Sunday night. This is Sunday, September the 12th. Mm-hmm. It's going to be at Printed Threads, which is Brett Bowden's shop. He's got a brand new building. It's going to be there. And then our education starts 10 o'clock a.m. Monday, September the 13th. And it's also Tuesday, the 14th. And for those that are interested, our VIP dinner tickets for Monday night are practically sold out. I think if you bought them today, you can probably sneak in because we're about to close that down because there's only so many chairs in the room. So we're about to shut that off, right? So that's Monday night, and it's going to be at a really great place called Riata. We've got a outdoor thing going there, right? It's going to be really fun. So, that's, open bar, and like, this is those legendary industry dinners, Alan, that last 2 or 3 hours. How many of those have you been to in your career?
More than I can even remember, but they're fun.
And I've been there with you, a couple of them. So, anyway, so that
I don't drink a lot, but sometimes those things, it's like, okay, I've got to stop.
Yeah. So anyway, so it's going to be a fantastic event, and would love to see everybody there. We chose Dallas Fort Worth for a reason, because I think, flights in and out are pretty easy. Mm-hmm. There's lots of them. It's a major hub. I think it's probably the second or third busiest airport in the country.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's probably Atlanta, O'Hare, DFW. Don't you think? Something like that.
I think, yeah.
So anyway, getting there is no problem. You're going to see a lot of your friends. You're going to see a lot of your friends that you've never met before, and you're going to meet some new people if you go. The other thing, I know some people can't go. Like, there's a couple folks that want to be there. Their wife's pregnant or something's going on, and they can't physically go. We're also live streaming this, right? So you can, if you go to this website, you can choose I'm attending live or I'm attending with the live stream. And we've got live streams set up, so you don't have to watch the recording. You can watch what we're doing on Monday and Tuesday live, right? And it's going to be really great. So huge.
We need to ask Gosta, when you come in, are you coming in my day? Do we need to share an Uber?
He's coming in?
I don't know. I'm assuming he is. That's the reason I'm going. Come on, man. I'm going so you can come, Costa. So,
well, what's the COVID protocol for coming in from Sweden?
I have no idea.
So anyway,
but we're talking about the Chuck Norris of Sweden. So
yeah, right.
So
Brian says, I'm driving 10 hours from here to there, right? And I will listen to podcasts and audiobooks both ways.
Way to go.
Great. That's awesome. I love it.
I am really looking forward, one, to the speakers, but Marshall, I'm looking forward. There are so many people on this podcast and people that have gone to Shirt Lab that have responded to me when I've been part of it online, and I have never met. So I cannot wait. This is going to be so much fun.
Yeah, I know. Frank's going to be there. I know. Ron's going to be there. I know.
Yep.
Brian's going to be there. So it's going to be lots of fun, right? So
I met Brian last month for the first time in Kansas City,
right,
at the deck show. So,
so it's going to be a fantastic event, and we'd love for you to come. But now's the time to decide to do it, right? Because you got to make your travel plans, whether you're driving or flying. Let's get that out of the way. And let me tell you, if you have any questions, right? I would love it if you just email me and let's set up a time to chat about why you should go and what you're going to learn and all that. If you've got any qualms about it at all, I'm going to be in town Wednesday the 8th through all the way to Wednesday after Shirt Lab. So I'm there for a whole week. And
I'm coming in Thursday afternoon,
right,
before ISS, and leaving Wednesday morning. So almost a week.
And we're doing something that Friday. What are we doing Friday, Alan?
We're going to be attending the show, but we are going to be hanging out with the incredible people of GSG, their booth. So you guys need to come to ISS. You want to come to Shirt Lab, but man, come a day on Saturday and see the show. GSG will have this booth. It's incredible. And we are going to be broadcasting live from there on Friday. Friday morning. Always a fun time. I am so excited because this is their backyard. They do it right. First show of the year, man. They pulled out all the stops, didn't they?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was
so much fun.
Cobra behind us working. Lawn Winners was running that, and it was a lot of fun. We talked to Mark, both Marks, Granberry and Dominic, and
Jared Granberry we talked to, and Liz Beavers
and Peter Walsh, and it was good.
Why is the Cobra so quiet?
Because it doesn't make any noise.
Absolutely. Classic. It was great. I cannot wait. Josh Wiley was on the show.
Yeah,
so much fun. The whole GSG crew saw that we are not experts in this. It's a small Keystone Cops 2 minutes before we go on, and then all of a sudden, bam, here we are. It was such a good time. They did everything, and so really looking forward to just hanging out with them. So everybody, come down, come see us at GSG. Stop by their booth. Tell them that you watched this podcast.
Yeah,
let them know that hey, you know of them because of that. It'll be a good time. Mr. Mark Soldonic will be there. You get to be in his presence, which is like an aura.
He has an aura.
He does.
Is that because he smells like barbecue?
It is. It's a barbecue aura. It is. So
yeah.
But it's going to be a great time. So yeah, and I know they're going to be showing a lot of M&R equipment, a lot of equipment. They're going to have ZSK embroidery machines. They're going to have all their digital stalls will be there in their show. So it'll be great.
Right.
Cindy, you're going to be at that show, right?
I think Cindy has something going on. She,
I think it's me. I went to Irving, Texas. She didn't come. If she can't come to this, I'm gonna take it personal. It's gonna hurt my feelings. Makes me sad inside.
Yeah, all right. So anyway, we would love you guys to come again. It's where is it? It's shirtlablive.com/Fort Worth. Get signed up. If you got any questions, we'd love to help you with that. Yeah. If you need your hotel block, that's right there. If you're interested in attending the VIP dinner, you can buy that through the link there also. There's just a lot of fun things going on, and we would love to see you there. So anyway, here you go. Mark says we have 3 booths. And
by 3 booths, those are big booths. They'll have a screen print section. They'll have embroidery and sign.
Cindy's planning to go.
Awesome. I know,
Her-
man, Caesar will be down there. My boss, Alex Mimosa, will be there from Easy Way.
Listen to this. I'm attending. Marge, Allison, Keith, Joe, Megan, Tad, and myself are all sharing a B&B.
Way to go.
That's awesome. Love that. Love that.
What else do you have going on, Marshall? You going to be anywhere? I know I'm going to be at DAX Chicago at the end of the month in a couple weeks.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to be at ISS Atlantic City at the end of the month. I'm going to be in Las Vegas on Monday, doing some work with a client there. And then I'll be at Atlantic City at the end of the month. I've got teaching 2 classes there. I'm teaching 2 classes at the Fort Worth show. So if you're going to the show, sign up for my classes. And I'm also planning on going by the GSG headquarters, and Mark is going to give me a tour.
Nice.
By the way, Mark, if you're still watching, I need to arrange that time with you. And then what else am I doing? Oh, I'm going to Labor Day weekend. I'm going to Tallahassee to watch my Florida State Seminoles take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish Sunday of Labor Day weekend. So taking my son to that. It's going to be a hoot.
Printing United is coming up.
Printing United is coming up in October. I'll be there. Right.
We might have some things, doing some fun things there, Marshall.
Yeah,
you and I talked last night.
We've got all types of magic tricks we're going to pull out of our hat, I think.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So, yeah, a lot of good stuff happening. Looking forward to it's always good just seeing people. We went too long, as a community. So it's a fun time.
All right, buddy. Well, hey, thanks for watching. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Marshall.
And we will check you guys out next week.
Have a great one. Thank you, GSG.